Chris Tyson. Oh no. Chris Tyson's information diet. Our first subscriber and the guy in the videos is a wonderful example of an information diet being used to perfection. Bruh. No, no, no. No, 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 no. No. You don't want to get in on Chris's information diet. That's a dark diet. That's a very poor diet, I would say. Everybody loves the MrBeast drama. I've gotten a little sick of covering it on stream just because there's so much MrBeast stuff, but Dogpack 404 has been teasing for a while that the next part of his video is going to come out, or his video series rather is going to come out. As we can see here, he says, should I post tonight or wait for Jimmy to respond to the existing allegations? Now, to my knowledge, he's planning to post part 3 on the 25th as of right now in 4 days because it's the 21st right now. So we will be watching that as it comes up, but we did get an interesting development regarding MrBeast.
6 pages.
So this woman, Rosanna Pansino, who's probably one of the most infamous MrBeast haters at this point, she somehow got a hold of this document titled How to Succeed in a MrBeast Production. Now, apparently this is an internal document from the company, which was sent around to a lot of different people. It's pretty long. How many pages is this? 36 pages, 36-page document. So we're going to go through this. Do you think Prism 42 seethes about people respecting Dogpack? Of course he does. Of course he does. Because he f***ed up his entire thing. He got no respect out of it because he handled it completely erroneously. That guy's a We've got this very long document, though, about MrBeast. How to succeed in MrBeast production. Okay. Hi, I'm Jimmy, MrBeast. And as the team is growing larger, I no longer get to spend as much time with everyone as I used to. The first dozen employees had unfiltered and unlimited access to me to learn as much as they could about my vision and what I wanted. Sadly, you don't have that luxury. So I thought it would be useful to try to brain dump as much as I can into this silly little book to give new people to help bring them up to speed on everything we've learned over the past decade with this channel. We've been through a lot, and chances are most of the problems you face we've dealt with. So I genuinely believe if you attentively read and understand the knowledge here, you will be much better set up for success. So if you read this book and pass a quiz, I'll give you $1,000. Sorry in advance for all the run-on sentences and grammar issues. I'm a YouTuber, not an author. Okay, guys, so this is like... Is this official? Yes, it is. So if you guys want to succeed at MrBeast, okay, if you want to succeed on YouTube, a lot of people ask me YouTube advice. This is all you need, okay? It's from the most successful YouTuber of all time, okay, who has no problems, no criticisms to be made of him. He's a great guy. You know, there's no... He's a good dude. I love Jimmy Beast. So from that perspective, I think you guys need to be paying a lot of attention here, okay? This is gonna change your life. A lot of pondering is going to be happening as a result. I expect a lot of pondering in chat, okay? He makes it sound like what he does is complicated. He's the luckiest mediocrity who ever lived. I'm sorry, this is just not true. You know, I don't love MrBeast. I don't love his videos, but that's just not true. It's not luck. I don't think luck really happens on YouTube, okay? Or in life in general. Like, sometimes there are lucky breaks that happen, but you have to realize, like, MrBeast is a very unique content creator. Nobody has created content as impressive in terms of, like, a production scale budget as him. Like, nobody's created content that's gotten as popular as him, so that's just wrong. Like, you know, you can hate him all you want, and I think there's a lot of great reasons to hate him, to be honest. He seems pretty morally bankrupt to me, but his success on YouTube is not a coincidence. It's not luck. He is an amazing businessman, content creator. You know, he is very impressive. Ponderers assemble. All ponderers, get the in. This is not a rule book. I need to kick this thing off by saying the purpose of this is not to give you a bunch of rules to follow. On top of that, I want nothing in here to be taken literally. What we do is complex and changes based on the situation. I need you to repeat this in your head 3 times. I will apply everything I read with a grain of salt. All right, repeat it in my head. I will apply everything I read with a grain of salt. I will apply everything I read with a grain of salt. I will apply everything I read with a grain of salt. Okay, grain of salters, okay? Salters, pepper boys are losing, grain of salters are winning today, okay? This is not an inclusive list of everything. I hope this inspires you with questions and to come to us to learn more. Prelude. I don't know what this means. I could make a separate book for creative, a separate book for production, a separate book for editors, etc. But I think that'd be dumb. Everything we do here is interconnected, and the more you understand about what others are doing and trying to accomplish, the better set up for success you will be. So this will be information about all parts of MrBeast Productions, and I advise everyone to read it in its entirety. A good example of this is James Warren. He understands every single part of this company at a deep level, and as a result can make decisions faster than anyone else. The stuff you will be reading about, he knows like the back of his hand. I've seen a team of 5 people work on a project for a week just to give up, and James solve it in 30 minutes. I say this not to flex for him, but to show the power that comes when you understand everything in this book deeply. The more you know about why we do things and what we're trying to accomplish, the better off you will be. So let's start with some basic stuff. What is your goal here? Your goal is to make the best YouTube videos possible. That's the #1 goal of this production company. It's not to make the best produced videos, not to make the funniest videos, not to make the best looking videos, not the highest quality videos. It's to make the best YouTube videos possible. Everything we want will come if we strive for that. Sounds obvious, but after 6 months in the weeds, a lot of people tend to forget what we're actually trying to achieve here. Interesting. So, I mean, essentially what he's saying there, for anyone who didn't pick it up, is that he doesn't care about making the best quality video. He cares about making the best YouTube video that, accrues the most views and makes the most money and is the most successful, essentially. Right? I don't care how traditional media does things. Pardon the bluntness, but this is not Hollywood, and I do not want to be Hollywood. And if that sentence is a turn off to you, then you're probably at the wrong job. I genuinely mean that. YouTube is the future, and I believe with every fiber of my body, it's going to keep growing over year, and in 5 years, YouTube will be bigger than anyone will have ever imagined. And I want this channel to be at the top, which is why I say we are not Hollywood. 99% of movies or TV shows would flop on YouTube. On top of that, they'd be wildly unprofitable, have no flexibility, and long lead times that can't adapt to trends. We aren't here to make a small movie once or twice a year. I want to make one a week. LOL. Laughing out loud. Which is why you need to be nimble and produce content our way, not the way you were taught before. If you want the highest probability of success, I beg you to learn why we do what we do at a deep level before you try to fix anything. We've done countless videos and invested hundreds of thousands of hours collectively building how we do things. I know it's not perfect, but we have a reason for how we do stuff, and it's probably a decent one. He says here, the amount of hours you work is irrelevant. Weird. I understood that as make the best video we can make, a best effort vibe. Well, it's the best effort, but he's not saying he wants to like make the best video, like in terms of like quality or story. He's saying like, I want to make the best video for YouTube. And for YouTube, the thing that's going to like be the best is that it gets the most views and money so we can continue doing stuff, The amount of hours you work is irrelevant. Before you get mad, recall the story about James solving a problem in 30 minutes a team of 5 couldn't in a week. In that example, does it really matter how many hours they worked? Obviously, we want grinders that put in the hours and love you guys to death that do. But at the end of the day, you will be judged on results, not hours. We are a results-based company. Get done and move the goalposts. Here he says, I only want A players. As I type this, I realize it may not be the wisest to categorize everyone into 3 buckets. But this is how I believe we should look at everyone that's a part of the production team. You're either an A player, B player, or C player. There's only room in this company for A players. A players are obsessive, learn from mistakes, coachable, intelligent, don't make excuses, believe in YouTube, see the value of this company, and are the best in the goddamn world at their job. B players are new people that need to be trained into A players. And C players are just average employees. They don't suck, but they aren't exceptional at what they do. They just exist, do whatever, and get a paycheck. They aren't obsessive in learning. C players are poisonous and should be transitioned to a different company immediately. It's okay. We give everyone severance. They'll be fine. I mean, yeah, this is like the kind of new media structure, right, that a lot of people go for. In a way, this even, I would say, reflects like the kind of contractors that I'm looking for, where I'm not looking for someone who like I could just easily replace, right? I'm looking for people who are irreplaceable. That's the kind of people I want to be paying to do work for me. Because, I don't want to just be a channel, right? I don't want to just be like a channel that gets lost in the crowd. I want to be like, I want my channel to hold a certain standing and reputation and mean something to the people that watch it, right? I want it to really be set apart from the average commentary channel or whatever. And I think I do a decent job at that. I think I do. It's not perfect, There's a decent amount of slop. I mean, here I am on live stream, reacting to stuff. But I would like, at the very least, to have my stuff, with every aspect of it, have like a unique voice compared to other people, Yeah. All right. Chapter 1, what makes a YouTube video viral? Oh boy. We're going to find out how to make the best Charlie bit my finger video. Okay. I spent basically 5 years of my life locked in a room studying virality on YouTube. Some days me and other nerds would spend 20 hours straight studying the most minor thing. Like, is there a correlation between better lighting at the start of the video and less viewer drop off? There is. Have good lighting at the start of the video, haha, or other tiny things like that. And the result of those probably 20,000 to 30,000 hours of studying is I'd say I have a good grasp on what makes YouTube videos do well. The 3 metrics you guys need to care about is click-through rate, CTR. CTR, by the way, is, I believe, the rate at which people click on your video. So like, let's say like, let's give an example of like 5% CTR, right? 5% CTR essentially means that for every 100 people that see your thumbnail, 5 people click it, right? So that's what that means. How many people that see your thumbnail are clicking on the video because they're interested. Average view duration, that one's pretty easy. What's the average time someone watches your video? A good view duration for a video is usually about like 35 to 45% is like a good target to be at the bare minimum. Obviously, the higher, the better, right? But yeah, with CTR, I think my average CTR is 4%, maybe 5%, but the closer you get to 10 is like, that means you're doing really well. Like 10 is like impressive, right? And average view percentage. This is essentially average view duration, just with a different metric, right? Average view duration is like how many minutes watched. Average view percentage is like what percent of that video are they watching. So like with YouTube, when you make a really long video, you want to make sure people who click it are watching more than they would watch from a shorter video on average, right? So like, let's say you make a 10-minute video and the average view duration is like 70%. It's like, oh, they watched 70% of that video. That's really good. This, great. But then let's say you have like a video that's an hour long and the view duration is 70%, which is rare, but it could happen. That means that 70% of those people watch that video. But these things are not created equal, because in one case, you have 7 minutes of watch time, which you can serve a certain amount of ads on. In another case, you have, what is 70% of an hour? Like 43 minutes, 44 minutes. Like that's obviously preferred because you're getting people to watch, just be on YouTube for longer. YouTube rewards that, right? YouTube rewards that a lot. Make sure you know these abbreviations because that's what most people will refer to them. Well, up first, we'll talk about CTR. This is important no matter what department you work in. CTR is basically how many people see our thumbnail in their feeds divided by how many they click it. If 100 million people see our thumbnail and 10 million click it, then that means 10% clicked and we have a 10% CTR. This is what dictates what we do for videos. I spent 50 hours in my front yard is lame and you wouldn't click it, but you would hypothetically click I spent 50 hours in ketchup. Both are relatively similar in time and effort, but the ketchup one is easily 100 times more viral. An image of someone sitting in ketchup in a bathtub is exponentially more interesting than someone sitting in their front yard. Titles are equally as important for getting someone to click. A simple way to up that CTR even more would be to title it I survived instead of I spent. This would add more intrigue and make it feel like it's extreme. In general, the more extreme, the better. I don't like bananas won't perform the same as bananas are the worst food on earth. Now, if you're in production or creative, you might be wondering, why does the title and thumbnail matter to me? Expectations is why. The title and thumbnail on the videos you'll be producing set the expectation for the viewer for your video. Imagine you clicked on a video titled World's Largest Bouncy Castle, and the thumbnail had a giant yellow bouncy castle besides a bunch of huge buildings. Then when the video plays, it's not a yellow bouncy castle, it's red. It's also not the world's largest. It's also in a field with no buildings like the thumbnail. You'd feel like you were lied to and click off the video because the video did not meet the expectations of the title and thumbnail. This is why you must know the title and thumbnail of the video you're making. How can you know how to start your video if you don't even know what expectations the viewers have of you? Interesting. Now let's jump over to the second metric that matters, AVD. This is how long on average people will watch a given video. The cool thing about YouTube is they give us super detailed graphs for every video that show the exact second we lose a viewer on every single video. Key moments for audience retention. 53% average view duration. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, it's a shorter video. It's 14 minutes long-ish, I assume, if it's 724 is the average view duration, but that is a pretty good metric. What is the average view duration on one of my videos on the Tom Dark channel? Let's catch this. Let's go to the latest video. Let's go with the Beast Games Disaster. Look at the analytics, okay? So for this video, the Beast Games Disaster, okay? Average view duration is 11 minutes and 26 seconds, which it says is about the same as usual. Now let's see. The click-through rate is 7%, which is decent. You can see how much money I made on it. $659. What was the percentage viewed on average? Engagement. Audience retention. Average view duration is 57.5%. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. On a video that's 20 minutes long, that's pretty good. And obviously that's average. So like that means that like there were definitely a lot of people who watched it all the way through, but there are also some people who clicked it, you know, watched 4 or 5 minutes and then clicked off, right? But that's pretty decent. See that blue line? That represents the attention span of the 60 million people that clicked on this video. It's crazy, but we can see exactly where every single person who clicked on the video clicks off. As with almost every YouTube video, the first minute has the most loss. Go look. This is why we freak out so much about the first minute and go so above and beyond to make it the best we freaking can. Freaking. Say Jimmy. On this particular video, we lost 21 million viewers in the first minute in the video, which surprisingly compared to other channels is above average and could have been much worse. Let's say the start of the video wasn't well lit. I didn't match the expectation of the clickbait. I didn't pre-plan what I'd say. And we didn't front load some interesting stuff for the first minute of content. We would have lost much less than 21 million people because it wouldn't have even gotten 21 million views, lol. But if views were hypothetically fixed, then instead of having 39 million viewers at the 1 minute mark, it would be more like 20 million viewers. The first minute of each video is the most important minute of each video. That's definitely true. That's why like channels, instead of like having like long introductions for video essays, like you guys may have noticed like Sunny V2 or like Internet Anarchist, they don't have like the kind of like introduction section that I have in my videos usually. And the reason why is because they know that a lot of people will click off. That's why they get right into like chapter 1, so to speak, right? They get right into the content. After the first minute of content, you'll have what we call minutes. Oh, that's also why like, you'll notice videos end abruptly, right? So like, let's go to like Jay/Schlatt's channel. This is probably a good example. You know how people used to do outros? It used to be like, hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all this shit, right? Let's see how YouTube videos end now. Let's just click on this video. Ranking your disgusting bedrooms. 50-minute video. How does it end?
Bash. 2 bobcats. Bunch of turkey stuff.
God bless. God bless this great state. Am I right?
Another beautiful day outside in Texas.
It's real beautiful out there. Texans be like, another beautiful day outside.
Like it just ends kind of abruptly and then you have 5 minutes of outro, right? Or sorry, 5 seconds of outro. That's how it happens. That's how people do it now because they don't want the average view duration to go down because then because like if you have an outro on a video that's like, you know, let's say a minute long, right? Most people, not most people, but a lot of people are going to like click off right away, especially if they're not a big fan of your channel. They don't really care to watch it. If they're already subscribed. They don't want to hear you be like, comment, subscribe. So that's why people don't do that anymore. So like go to Patrick CC His endings are super
At the
abrupt.
start
This
of
guy's in like the same genre as me. Let's see his ending.
No matter who you want to believe or who you say is credible or not credible, whatever narrative
Like the outro is while he's talking now. There's no like separate outro.
you want to run with, it all ends the same way, with Ye being extremely vulnerable and unsafe, with potentially his life at risk here.
It just ends like that. Or like go to MrBeast's channel, right? He'll probably talk about this in the document. If you go to his channel, let's see how he ends this video. 7 days stranded in a cave. Let's watch the last 8 seconds.
I got that out the way. Let's leave. Woo! After 7 long days, we're finally leaving.
Like it just kind of ends like that, right? Or like look up MrBeast reactions. These are probably even more abrupt. Is it Beast Reacts? Is that the channel? Beast Reacts. Funniest animals on the internet. Brought to you by Chris Tyson. Let's just click off. Oh, they're all Chris Tyson.
This is a
Or are they all Chris? Let's watch the end.
lads get access to this helicopter. Who knows? Who cares? If you think you can do those, subscribe.
I'm not.
Even that is something I think they didn't do for a long time. Even saying subscribe at the end, but it's a super abrupt ending. Like they're just in the middle of watching a video. They're like, bye. How long does a pencil last? 2 years ago. Jimmy Beast reaction. Let's see this one.
That's cheat codes now. I need to go call the Beast Burger team. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to win money. Hopefully.
Rather abrupt, right? And this is like the kind of meta that people have been taught because they know people will just click off once they see that part, right? So they want to do the ending as fast as possible. After the first minute, you have what we call minutes 1 through 3. This is where you have to transition from hype to execution generally. Stop telling people what they'll be watching and start showing them. An example of a 1 through 3 minute tactic we would use is crazy progression. Mr. Breast, yeah. Let's say we have a 10-minute video about a guy surviving weeks in the woods. Instead of making the first 3 minutes of the video about his first day, then progressing from there like a logical filmmaker would, we try to cover multiple days in the first 3 minutes of the video so the viewer is now super invested in the story. They've seen this man survive multiple days in the woods and emotionally now want to see how much farther he can go. We also want to do something around the 3-minute mark called a 3-minute re-engagement. A re-engagement can be described as content that's highly interesting, that fits the story and makes people genuinely impressed. Another way to look at this is it's a segment that only MrBeast can do this. It's important to re-engage the viewer around this time because they could get bored of the story and click off. These re-engagements are usually spectacles and sometimes need lots of time and money to perfect. A good example of a re-engagement is when Carl was put in charge of watching Josh in the $10,000 Every Day You Survive prison video. Following the first minute, then minutes 1 through 3, it's obviously what we call the minute 3 through minute 6 and is the next most important part of the video. This is where you plan out all the most exciting and interesting content that's also very simple. This includes a lot of quick scene changes and highly simulated simple content that reflects the story. The goal is to make them fall in love with the story, the people in the video, and the overall video itself. If we can get them to watch the first half of the video, there's a very high chance they'll watch to the end. Usually the 6-minute mark will include another re-engagement that's highly interesting, but needs a little more explanation and will push the story in the back half of the video. And lastly, we have what's called back half content. I have to be careful writing this because I don't want you to ever think for a second I'm okay with content being subpar. Many videos have been killed because the back half of the content was ass. But in general, you have someone for 6 minutes, they're super invested in the story and probably in what I call a lull. They're watching the video without even realizing they're watching the video. Typically, the not as good content would be in the back half of the video. Don't ever signal the end of the video unless it's to build hype for the prize or payoff at the end of the video. This is also where long explanation bits can live, and if something unexpected happens or things don't plan out, or things don't go to plan, they can be turned into content. Stop exposing me as a disability based. MrBeast has Down syndrome. An angel told me in my dream, as you all know. The angel may have been right. We don't know yet. The above paragraphs are why you'll hear us ask what minute mark in the video you're working on is. Whether it's production, creative, or editing, you must always know what minute mark the content you're working on is. If you don't, then you're not doing it right. I just whipped out a calculator, and the combined seconds of content of our last 100 videos is 81,801 seconds, which divided by 100 means the average MrBeast video is 818 seconds or 13 minutes and 37 seconds. Some are shorter, like when we do a real-time shoot or something more emotional and don't want it dragged out, and some are longer. Giant spectacles like giving away an island is an example, but 13 minutes is the average, and you're expected to know when producing which minute of that 13 minutes you're working on. Since we're on the topic of retention graphs, here's a cool visual. Let's see here. So we got some visuals. The shape of the audience retention graph can tell you which parts of your video are most and least interesting to viewers. When the line on the chart is finished, it means viewers are watching that part of your video from start to finish. So flat. So this is a flat line. So saying flat is good. Gradual declines mean viewers are losing interest over time. All videos on YouTube generally taper off during the playback period. Spikes appear when more viewers are watching, rewatching, or sharing those parts of your video. So this is where like a specific part is engaging, but the rest of it may not be. Dips mean viewers are abandoning or skipping at that specific part of your video. The last of the 3 trackable metrics that matters to virality is average view percentage, and TBH, this doesn't matter as much to you. Usually the length of the video will be decided by me or Tyler. I just need you to make people watch as long as possible. watching Tom do his homework. I feel like there is some valuable like stuff in here for sure. But the problem with applying this to a video essay channel, I'm sure there are things you can apply, but the problem that I'm seeing if I were to apply this to my content is like when you're telling a story about like in a video essay about someone, you're documenting something, you want to make it entertaining, but you also have a responsibility to the accuracy of the story, right? And for Mr. Beast, he makes the story. He's not reporting on anyone else. So he can just craft it however he wants. But with a video like mine, I'm telling someone else's story. So it's not, just as simple as like, there are things I could apply to make the videos more interesting, but it's not as simple as like, oh, well, in the first minute, you need this part. And in the next 3 minutes, you need this part. And like after that, you need this part. Cause like in your strive to do that, you could leave out important information, that could convolute the story and not give people a full grasp of what's going on. And when you have like when you want to have, a responsibility to the truth, which I feel like, I feel obligated to tell the truth in my videos the best I can. This kind of thing can conflict with that a lot. But yeah, like it's just, the problem with like factoring this into like journalism is like, okay, obviously if what I do is journalism, you want to call it that, I don't know, journalism light. I don't really consider myself a journalist. There's journalistic things I do. But the problem with applying this kind of methodology is like you're potentially leaving out important parts of the story or like playing up certain aspects for the purpose of like making it more sensationalistic or entertaining, which can, spread misinformation or mislead people as to the truth of the situation or leave things out. And that could be really bad, So like realistically, I think it's really important if you're a commentary channel or whatever, reporting other people's shit and you want to like take this to heart. Like you can take some of it to heart. There's definitely useful stuff in here, but like you don't want to manipulate the story to be a certain way if that's not the truth, Like Mr. Beast can manipulate a story because it's his story, right? It's like I spent 5 days sucking penis in Argentina, right? You can tell that story however you want. But for me, it's like I'm making a video about this guy who spent 5 days sucking penis in Argentina. I need to, have a responsibility to report that accurately, right? You got to do things in good faith. That another non-trackable thing about virality is I'd like you to know what is called the wow factor, and it's definitely the most subjective. You can check all the above boxes for CTR and average view duration, but the video can still do for us. An example of the wow factor would be our 100 days in the circle video. We offered someone 500 grand if they could live in a circle in a field for 100 days. And instead of starting with this house in the circle that we live in, we bring it in on a crane for 30 seconds into the video. Why? Because who the else on YouTube can do that? The fact that we lifted a house on a crane didn't add anything to the title and thumbnail. It obviously hooked the viewers and helped build retention, but there are millions of ways we could have done that easier. It's arguably, from a data standpoint, illogical and a waste of time. But the impression it leaves in the viewer is invaluable for us. Anytime we do something that no other creator can do that separates us in their mind, it makes our videos much more special to them. It changes how they see us, and it does make them watch more videos and engage more with the brand. You can't track the wow factor, but I can describe it. Anything that no other YouTuber can do, and it's important we never lose our wow. Mr. Beast faked the suck video too. No, that was a real video, I think, based. Chapter 2, creating content. All right, so we've gone through the theory and packaging of videos, which, by the way, I will say, like, it is the theory and packaging of videos is super important. Because, like, obviously you can make the best video imaginable, but if you're not trying to at least market it properly, it's probably not going to do that well. You're going to have a hard time getting attention. Now, there are certain channels where if they build up a certain audience, they will get views regardless because people know their approach, right? They have a reputation that the audience likes, like Lemon, for example, right? If anyone was teaching you about thumbnail theory, most of Lemon's thumbnails are not particularly good. Like, look at this one, 2 days in Moore, Oklahoma. What the even is this? There's like a pride flag behind it or something. There's like, this looks like a map. You can barely tell. And there's like lightning in the middle. What does this even mean, right? Why would this video do well? But the reason it does well is because it's Lemon, and his audience has come to expect a certain level of quality, right? Because they're so well made. And so as a result of that expectation, people click on it, right? Like these ignore a lot of thumbnail theory stuff, but because it's Lemon, he has a recognizable style. People who have already seen him want to click, and they do well in the algorithm. They get recommended to other people click and watch, right? But like for this, for example, rare items. Title doesn't really say much about it. In the middle, you have like some video game hat that's on fire in the middle of like a white screen. This is not like good general thumbnail theory that anyone would, think like, oh, this is good. Like this is completely wrong for what Mr. Beast would do, right? But the reason it works well is because Lemon's approach is always so consistently good and unique on YouTube that people want to click it. But yeah, like you can surpass this kind of stuff, right? Now, if Lemon did, change his approach here, like if he had like more of like crazy soy face thumbnails or whatever, And he wasn't using shitty art of Jar Jar Binks here, right? The videos potentially could do better long term, but in the short term, he would take a big hit because he's changing the thumbnail style and people want to click it less, right? People want to click his videos less who are already in his audience. Now, maybe long term, he could have like a larger appeal. But part of the reason why people like Implement is his approach to YouTube is unorthodox in every aspect, and therefore he's built up a certain amount of respect because despite the unorthodox approach, his videos are really good. Chapter 2, creating content. For this next part, I want to write about actually creating content. I'm not going to talk about any production system in particular because the way we run this production changes almost every year. Haha. I just want to pass on things I see new people typically fail at, and in general, what I want. Our videos are hard, and if you took the difficulty of our videos and trendlined it over time, you'd see things that are only getting harder. This is why I want the best in the world and people who are obsessed. If you're not growing, eventually the difficulties of the videos will outgrow you. Whether it be production, creative, camera, or editing, I want you to be obsessed with YouTube. Get rid of Netflix and Hulu and watch tons of YouTube. It will, without a doubt in my mind, make you more successful here. The more invested you are in our world on YouTube, the more you'll understand trends, how we can stand out and be more original, what we could do better, etc. You should also really try to watch every MrBeast video on all the channels. Sounds obvious, but I've asked multiple people this week what they thought about last week's gaming video, and not a single person had seen it. MrBeast is anti-skibidi. I think he might be pro-skibidi. You don't know that. He might be pro-gada-gada-gada-gada-oh. On top of learning from watching YouTube, I'd love for you to read The Goal if you haven't already. I used to make everyone read it. I know bottlenecks are obvious, and it will sound like I'm talking to 10-year-olds sometimes, but just not knowing and understanding something as simple as bottlenecks is tons of videos. You should deeply understand the work stream from when a video hits the calendar to when it is filmed. I don't have the best track record of making the video filming calendar super far out and sticking with it. Let's say you're in production and a video you're assigned to is put up 45 days out. A lot of things need to happen before you can start working on it. The big things would probably be you need a thumbnail sketch and creative on your team to write the video. Do not just go to them and say, I need creative, let me know when it's done. And I need a thumbnail, let me know when it's done. This is what most people do, and it's one of the reasons why we fail so much. I want you to look them in the eyes and tell them they are the bottleneck and take it a step further and explain to them why they're a bottleneck so you both are on the same page. Tyler, you're my bottleneck. I have 45 days to make this video happen, and I cannot begin to work on it until I know what the contents of the video is. I need you to confirm you understand this is important, and we need to set a date on when the creative will be done. Now, this person who also has tons of shit going on is aware of how important this discussion is, and you guys can prioritize it accordingly. Now, let's say Tyler and you agree will be done in 5 days. You don't get to set a reminder for 5 days and not talk to him for 5 days. Every single day, you must check in on Tyler and make sure he's still on track to hit the target date. I want less excuses in this company. Take ownership and don't give your project a chance to fail. Dumping your bottleneck on someone and then just walking away until it's done is lazy, and it gives room for error. And I want you to have a mindset that God himself couldn't stop you from making this video on time. Check in daily. Leave no room for error. You guys are all my bottleneck. You're preventing me from true happiness by giving me a streaming addiction. Parasocial relationship of chat is my life bottleneck. Ouch, condescending. I mean, it is condescending for sure, I think. But I mean, the thing about it is, you know, the company culture ultimately seems focused on only getting like hyper obsessive, basically YouTube psychos in it who are willing to like constantly be on top of other people. So it is condescending, but the goal of the video process here does not seem to be to make everyone feel good. It's like to make the best YouTube video, and that's it, right? For this next part, I just want to brain dump about random things and explain why we do and say certain things. If you understand all of this, then you'll be in a good spot. Like, seriously, these are cheat codes, and you should take them to heart. All right, cheat codes, guys. We're getting in the matrix here, okay? Cheat codes. Yeah, this is us right now. This is us, guys, okay? This is literally me, okay? We're hacking the matrix. Okay, we're on Hacker Typer. You guys remember this? I used to bring this up in middle school and pretend I was hacking the United States government. You guys ever been on this website? It's so fun. You just type random shit. You just type random keys. You'd never guess the crazy shit I'm typing right now. Wow. Amazing. Guys, I think we're hacking the mainframe. Hold on. All right. Guys, we're getting in right now. Holy shit. Let me in. All right. We're doing it. Here we go. Here we go, guys. We're getting in the matrix right now. Oh, I'm getting so deep. I'm getting so deep. I'm getting deep. N groups per block, guys. There's a lot of N groups. Shit. Oh my god, guys. There's a lot of hacking going on right now. A lot of hacking. Oh my god. Shit. I need to get in the mainframe, please. Get me in the mainframe right now. Please. Please, I'm trying my best. Cypher. Get me in, Cypher. Yeah, this website was fun. Video everything. I really want us to see producing as a team job, not a solo thing, which is why it's important you video everything critical and also anything you think people would ask about. Let's say you go to scout a set for a video in a month while the rest of your team is working on this week's video. Most people just go to scout the set, maybe grab a photo, and walk around and try to grab a good mental model of it. Then a week later, when you're back, this video is now Tyler's main focus. And he starts asking questions about the set, and you can't quite recall. The questions get more and more detailed, and all you have to go off of is what's in your mind. The rest of the production team also needs to start planning bits, but they don't know what it looks like, and it's a shit show. This is why we say video everything, which is important. That one person has a good mental grip of something, or that their entire team of 10 people have a good mental grip of... Which is more important, that one person has a good mental grip of something, or that their entire team of 10 people have a good mental grip on something? Obviously, the team. And the easiest way to bring your team to the same page is to freaking... He says freaking a lot. Why does MrBeast say freaking so much? Is to freaking video everything and store it where you can constantly reference it. A lot of problems can be solved if we just video sets and ask for videos when ordering things, especially because I personally am a visual guy and I always ask to see what things look like. So even for me, videos are valuable. Video everything. Say the negatives. Title says it all. Don't just tell people on your team or me why something is good. It's infinitely more valuable to tell us why it's not good. I found the castle we need for the video, but it's booked all year, over budget, and someone died in it last week. It's your fault. Track the contractor. I know I already talked about this, but if there's one thing I'd really love to impose on all of you from this writing, is that you can't just dump and forget your projects. I can't stand when people dump and forget their project on a contractor, and then the day before the shoot, blame them when it's not ready. That's on you, not the contractor. Let's say you're building the world's largest water balloon, and you need someone to make a giant wooden stand for it to sit on. Most people here would just call someone like JB and have him do it and tell him to be done by filming day. Instead, you should really have it done a certain time frame in advance. You need to use your own intelligence based on the project to determine that. And in case something is off, we can make changes. And you need to then decide whether or not it's a critical component. If it is, you should also be working on a backup. And while working on a backup, you should check in with JB every single day. Ask him to send videos every day to spot problems early. Hell, maybe talk to him twice a day. I don't care. Just don't leave room for error. No excuses. Stop leaving room for error. Check in daily, receive videos, and know weeks in advance if you're not days. I am not always right. Well, we could have assumed that, I think, but things that age like milk, okay? Things that age like milk. MrBeast says age like milk, my friend, okay? It's curdling. Your entire document is curdling, okay? You're not always right. We know that because of Chrissy boy over there. Chrissy boy. Hey, Chrissy. Oh, what's going on with Chrissy? Anyhow, I'm not always right. Shocker, I know. I'm young, and I'll be the first to admit I'm not perfect. I promise not a single person on this planet wants us to succeed more than I do. And no matter how much you work, you'll never invest more time into this company than I will, but I can't promise I'll always be right. Having said that, there are always ways you can help me be right more often. For starters, you need to understand the world I'm in and how my mind works. This book in particular is for our production company, which, by the way, is the most important company and allows everything else to succeed. Without the videos, everything else dies. But it's not all I have going on. I have to be the main talent for every gaming video, every Reacts video, every philanthropy video, every TikTok, Insta post, and every main channel video, which is basically 3 full-time jobs all by myself. Little things like sending videos to people for birthdays, attending events, networking, etc. all add up because I'm the face of the channel. On top of being the main talent, I have to work with each channel to make sure the creatives are always evolving and not getting stale, and in general be a visionary for them. Basically running 4 channels at a higher level than anyone else in the world can run one. We also have a Beast Burger and Feastables. Based nicotine burps. And I still have to set the vision and be the lead creative. On top of that, we dub our channels in other languages, and we run a translation company that works with other channels as well. I also multiple times a week have to call other YouTubers and see what they are testing and doing, so I can always stay up to date and make sure we aren't missing anything. AKA, you need me networking a lot. What I'm trying to say is I have to run 4 channels, 3 businesses, a charity, and network and maintain our image all at the same time. Maintain image. Ouchie. Spread yourself thin there, bro. So when you need something from me, you have to understand that I'm probably not as knowledgeable about a video as you. Whatever you don't tell me, I don't know. When getting an answer from me, it's ideal you do the research and come to me with context and options. Instead of saying, in a coming up video, we're giving away a car. What do you think of this Lexus? It's only 10 grand. Which is how 99% of questions are asked towards me. Do this instead. We have a coming up Would You Rather video. One of the bits at the 6 to 9 minute mark, we'll be giving away a car. We're still on budget, and the market for this car is 10 grand. I checked with PM. It could go up another 5K if you really wanted. I searched all of North Carolina for cool ass cars around that price point, and here are 5 I found that got pre-approved by Creative, all on budget. I also got 5 other backup options that are less cool looking and more average if you're going for that. Here's a picture of all 10 cars, the miles on the cars, and all the information you'd want. Which of these cars do you think is best, or should I get other options? If you want to look like you're doing your job and don't care about the success of the video, ask me questions like the first example. If you want to take accountability and make your videos happen with a higher probability of success, to the second option. This doesn't just apply to me, it applies to anyone high up you expect to make a decision. I came back for diaper. Oh, I came for diaper. Well, you came to the right place. You came to the right place because this is the diaper stream, as always. I'm the biggest diaper guy in the world. I'm the biggest diaper guy in the world. Critical components. Critical components are the things that are essential to your video. If I want to put 100 people on an island and give it away to one of them, then securing an island is a critical component. It doesn't matter how well planned the challenges on the island are, how good the weather is, etc. Without that island, there's no video. Hence, it's a critical component. Another example of a critical component would be the title and thumbnail. Remember that bouncy castle story from earlier? How the thumbnail had a yellow bouncy castle, but the video a red one? The thumbnails of the videos you're producing can also create critical components. A third example of a critical component would be if the creative on your team pitched me a video of 10 challenges, and I said, I like the video, but mostly because of challenge 3 and 7. I'd hate the video without them. Challenge 3 and 7 are now essential to your video and thus critical components. Critical components can come from literally anywhere, and once something you're working on is labeled as such, you treat it like your baby. Without what you're working on, we do not have a video. Protect it at all costs. Check in on it 10 times a day. Obsess over it. Make a backup. If it requires shipping, pay someone to pick it up and drive it. Don't trust standard shipping and speak up the second anything goes wrong. The literal second. Never a coin flip. A critical component, that means you're coin flipping the video, aka $1 million+, and always bring in me or James earlier rather than later. Stop the cap. You're not a big diaper, just big liar. You don't know that. I could be wearing the biggest diaper of all time. Under these shorts I'm wearing, okay? See these shorts? What makes you think there's not room for a diaper in these shorts, okay? There's plenty of room for a big shit-filled diaper in these shorts. So keep that in mind. At any point in time, I or any other YouTuber you watch or any of your friends even could be wearing a diaper, okay? And even if they're wearing a Speedo, you don't know if they have a ultralight diaper. Where's a diaper print? I wear sleek adult diapers to kind of, just make it more palatable. But, when the clothes come off, the diaper's always there and it never comes off, including during sex. Opinion on Juice World. I like Jamba Juice. It's pretty good. Do they have a world there? Communication lines. Wow. It's very important as a company we maintain proper communication lines on and off set. There's always someone responsible for everything on the video, and if multiple people are responsible for the same thing, then that's a problem that needs to be fixed immediately. Ideally, when communicating across departments, you go up and then over. You prize must. If you skip and just go below you prize must, then call and let the people in charge know. Let's say you're a production coordinator and you call a writer and tell him you need some bits about a sandwich being cooked with lava. Lava? Ironic. Is that lava GS? Seems harmless. Except now Tyler, head of creative, has no idea what his writer is working on, and worse, doesn't know that's an option when he directs the video. Will, head of production, also had no idea this has been set into motion, and when planning and tracking the progress of the video, doesn't know how to account for this. Will later finds out about it and assumes Tyler approved the bit and starts planning on how to make lava, and then wastes 3 days making lava until Tyler catches wind, and then Tyler asks why she's making lava and has no idea, and everyone's confused. This is what happens when you don't follow proper communication lines. If, when this bit was requested, Tyler and Allie were called first, days of bullshit would have been saved. Seems simple, but it happens dozens of times a week and causes tons of double and triple work. Creativity saves money. I don't think it comes as a surprise when I say we don't have unlimited money here. We can't have every video constantly going over budget because the money has to come from somewhere, but you're in a tough spot because I constantly want better and better videos. A lot of people who work here have definitely thought before, if Jimmy wants us to be on budget, why does he keep asking us to do so many expensive things? Or, I know Jimmy won't like this, so I need to spend more money. People always assume money is the answer, and if we just spend more money, we can give Jimmy what he wants, which is wrong. Creativity is the answer. Here's an example I use all the time with our gaming team. They love to give away money every video, but which sounds cooler to you as a prize for a gaming video? 20 grand or a year's supply of Doritos. To me, Doritos is so much funnier, and I think our audience would find it hilarious. Oh, he says here. He said freaking a lot before, but we're in the situation, okay? The cussing allegations. So let's say we define a year's supply of Doritos by 5 packs of Doritos a day for 365 days. That's 1,800 packs of Doritos, and a quick Google search tells you can buy a pack of Doritos for less than $1. But we can round up and let's just say $1 per a pack of Doritos. Our price for the video just went from 20 grand down to 1,800 bucks because we didn't just throw money at the problem and we used creativity. This applies to everything every single one of you do, whether it be finding a crane for a video, deciding prizes, picking locations, finding critical components, or doing the most minuscule thing. Use creativity to save money because every dollar we save allows me to give you guys more stability and hire more people to make your life easier. If you want to succeed here, say this 10 times in your head. Creativity saves money. I'd rather have Doritos, okay, Jimmy? I probably would. I'd probably rather have Doritos. I want MrBeast Doritos. Then I can make like a video about how like he touched me or something. How he shoved a Dorito up my butt, which I, obviously I enjoyed at the time, but looking back, I was traumatized. Always have a backup day. No one will ever have a 100% success rate when it comes to filming our videos on time and on budget. It's impossible. But you can still do certain things to increase the probability of success. And one of the easiest but most overlooked is having a backup day. When you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars securing a set, renting a tank, etc., make sure you have the ability to extend them in case something goes wrong. It might not even be your video. Something might go wrong on gaming, and now I need to slide your video a day to make up for it. I'd also rather have a hypothetical 90% cool looking tank with a dope owner who's making life easier on us, letting me do whatever I want, and the ability to pay extra to add a day, than a 100% cool looking tank but the owner micromanages what we do and there's no backup day. This example is obvious, just throwing it out there to inspire you. Always check with creative before you do something like this, but backup days are necessary, and ideally we work with people that see the value in us and love us, so they will be even more flexible. Don't take anything at face value. Always dig. One of the most common themes you're probably seeing is accountability, and this doubles down on that. Don't take anything at face value. Always dig. This is particularly important when dealing with people outside the MrBeast production team. If someone says something too good to be true, find out why. If it's fishy, investigate. If you need 10,000 pillows by next week and you've called 10 pillow companies and none have more than a few hundred in stock, but then the 11th company magically has 10,000, investigate. Are they drop shipping? Are the pillows shitty? Why the does no one want your pillows? Push and get answers. What tends to happen is people think their job is done by finding the 10,000 pillows and just order them, only for us to find problems with them when they arrive, but it's too close to the filming window to fix it. Do not overly trust people outside the company. Investigate and verify what they say, or it's your fault if they don't pull through. Hasselmeihoff, yeah. Higher form of communication. If you spend any amount of time with James, you'll hear him bring up higher forms of communication a lot because it's important and somehow very overlooked by most people. The worst thing you could ever do when you need something for your critical component is email someone at the company. The best is to talk to them in real life. It's very important you know when to call people for stuff, grab them in real life, and when to text them. The lower the form of communication, the more miscommunication you face. As I'm typing this, you probably have no idea if I'm laughing, smiling, happy, mad, or sad. You can't read my body language or my face. And because of that, it's not guaranteed that you'll understand what I'm conveying. Need more toilet paper in the bathroom? A text is probably fine. 1 week out from a video and the thing you're working on just went south, minimum a multi-way call with the heads of the video. Ideally, grab them in real life if you can. The more complex what needs to be said is, the higher the form of communication you should use. Call first, then text if they don't answer. Since we're on the topic of communication, written communication also does not constitute communication unless they confirm they read it. Own your mistakes, all right, boys. Personal responsibility with MrBeast. Let's get into it. Gonna need a Zin for this one. I know it sounds to most people, but this is unironically good management advice, especially for YouTube stuff, yeah, in like a very competitive landscape. Generally, a lot of this is like good advice, Love or hate him, this kind of advice is, the knowledge he's passing on is part of what made MrBeast the most successful YouTuber of all time. So some of it's definitely useful advice. Posted again 4 days ago. Interesting. I hate excuses and I despise with my entire soul when people just try to save face instead of learn from how they messed up. Me freaking too. Mistakes are okay. Genuinely they are, and I expect you to make a lot. That's perfectly fine. Every veteran here has cost me $1 million at one point or another. You can go ask them yourself if I ever held it over their heads. The reason I'm okay with ups is because I know that's how you learn. I see it as me investing in you and your brain. Hence why I have a zero tolerance policy for C players, and they must go immediately. Those ups could have been an A player that will retain the information, or they could have been done by an A player that will retain the information learned. It's good advice. The wording is terrible, and the thought process is sort of predatory somewhat. What do you mean by predatory? I'm curious what you mean by that, because that could be the case, but what do you mean by that? Odd spaghetti. I just beg that you learn from every mistake and try not to repeat it. That's when it gets annoying. I've never ever once fired someone on the spot for messing up. You have nothing to be afraid of. Own shit so we can address how to fix it and then move on. All right, next section. Nothing comes before your priorities, or prios. I think it's priorities, I assume. It's a bit overbearing and aggressive. Is that predatory, though? Oh, wait, sorry. Someone else said the thing about good advice. It wasn't Odd Spaghetti. Odd Spaghetti initially said, all this is normal advice. Literally the sort of stuff I learned in my college class about project management. It seems relatively normal, yeah, from my perspective. It lacks morality in terms of these are human beings, not machines. It lacks morality. I mean, the thing is, like, he's running a company. His goal is not to make everyone feel like they're, like, the best person in the world, I don't think you have an obligation to employ people who suck at their job, or like employ people who can't learn. Like, this is how it works when you're like a successful company that's like leading in the industry, right? I feel like most of this stuff in here is totally fine advice. I don't think there's anything up here. Like, this all makes sense. When you're being assigned tasks, you should have what we call a prio list. If Ali says your prios are 1, get a Lambo under 200K, 2, get it wrapped in anime characters, 3, make a custom steering wheel, then nothing on this freaking planet is allowed to come before you in getting these prios done. If the other team asks for your help and you spend 2 days helping them and fall behind on getting your Lamborghini secured, that's your fault. If the studio is burning down and you stop working to put out the fire and don't get the Lamborghini, that's your fault. Jokes, haha. But seriously, don't let anything come before your priors. I would say it lacks integrity, personally, and this might sound gay. I think YouTube is best when content creators primarily function as creative artists. This is all business death talk. I mean, it depends on what you enjoy out of content, right? Like, I think there are a lot of people on YouTube who like want to watch more quote unquote artistic content that like tells a message or has like a real story behind it or like has like some kind of reflection of society or some greater cultural message or whatever, you know, gives you insight into your own life. Some people do want that, but the majority of people don't want that. They want like slop. And MrBeast makes the best slop on the planet, the most impressive slop you can possibly make. So like that's like ultimately his goal is to like make the most successful video. But you know, you'd be surprised how much like this kind of thing is pushed in like art in general, like with making it a great movie, right? A lot of the best directors have been called like shitheads, you know. I think someone at Netflix once claimed that David Fincher runs his sets like a Nazi. And that's, you know, basically hitting on the idea of like, you know, working on their stuff is like not the most enjoyable thing in the world. It's not like you like feel great all the time. But the results of that work and like the time and effort put in and running things like a machine is you can make truly great art a lot of the time. Like the best movies in the world are generally not, you know, like a absolute blast to work on. Everyone's having an amazing time. Like it's a lot of hard work, you know. It can still be fun, but it's a lot of hard work, like making really good art that like people see like takes a lot of like blood, sweat, and tears, you know. It's not like when like people are making like an album that's really good, like sometimes it'll be like willy-nilly, whatever, we're just smoking weed and hanging out. But a lot of the most impressive, like long-lasting, timeless albums on earth were made by people who were like painstakingly breaking their back, had a shitty diet, and were spending all day in their room locked up trying to make something really impressive, you know. Obviously you need to maintain mental sanity to some extent, but like working, if you want to be the best, you're going to have to break your back doing it. Use consultants. All right. Consultants are literally cheat codes. Need to make the world's largest slice of cake? Start off by calling the person who made the previous world's largest slice of cake lol. He's already done countless tests and can save you weeks worth of work. I really want to drill this point home because I'm a massive believer in consultants, because I've spent almost a decade of my life hyper obsessing over YouTube. I could show a brand new creator how to go from 100 subscribers to 10,000 in a month. On their own, it would take them years to do it. Consults are a gift from God. Please take advantage of them. And every single freaking task assigned to you, always, always, always ask yourself first if you can find a consultant to help you. This is so important that I'm demanding you repeat this 3 times in your head. I'll always check for consultants when I'm assigned a task. Math, science, vision, approvals, budget. Everything you need can be solved by one of these 5 things above. Use math, science, vision, approvals, or budget. Okay. No does not mean no. That's a poor phrasing on this one. I remember this being included in Dogpack's video, this part specifically. When dealing with people outside MrBeast Productions, never take a no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside of, and you call the local Dollar Tree and the person the answer says, no, you can't film here, that literally doesn't mean shit. Talk to other employees and see if any are fans, or if they have kids that are fans, try talking to their boss's boss, have me DM them on Twitter and try their social team, etc. If after all avenues are exhausted, you're left with a no, that doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees, because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend the rules. Basically, what I'm trying to convey is what we call pushing through no. Just don't stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is one of many tools that, when combined, dramatically improve your probability of success when producing here. Interesting. This seems kind of shitty to other people, you know. I'd say this is like the first thing in this document that I'm like, this is kind of, you know, like pressuring local businesses to like bend to your will. It doesn't like inherently anger me because I don't know, I just don't get emotional with that kind of thing, but it is shitty. Work on multiple videos every day. Please do not come in and only work on one video during a work day. That's how you fall behind on future videos and create a nasty cycle that I'm trying to stop. If you drop everything and go all in on a video for 3 days, then that's 3 days your other videos will fall behind, and eventually you have to drop other videos, focus on those videos, and it will snowball until you can't do anything but focus on what's right in front of you because you murdered any lead time you had. If you only ever work on one video during a day, you failed as a MrBeast employee that day. Be able to hold a camera. Okay, we hired Delaware to show no doesn't mean no. True. We hired Delaware to show 11 years old. What's the big deal? How many pages are there? 36. We're on 19. So we're more than halfway done. Obviously, everybody has their roles, and TBH, if you can consistently lead and produce videos for me with a 90% success rate, I don't care if you piss in the sink every day, I'll still love you. But having said that, it'd be nice if at some point you got training on our style of holding a camera. When we do a big shoot, not local, it'd be nice to not have to bring 1 million production people and 1 million camera people. If, for example, there are only a few scenes that need a couple extra cameramen for us, I'd love for us to not have to fly, house, transport, and baby more cameramen. Well, we could just have a few people from production or creative help for those overflow scenes, because typically the more cameramen we have filming, the less important each shot becomes. Delaware is a target audience expert based. Delaware knows them better than anyone else. Better than, most humans will know in their entire life. Jesus. 1 out of 10 good, 10 out of 10 bad. YouTube is a feature that compares the new uploads performance to the previous 9 videos and tells you how the views rank in the first hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, etc. This is what it looks like. So here we see the ranking of these videos. Number 1 is the Squid Game video. Number 10 is First to Rob a Bank Wins 100 grand. And number 3, which is the video they're highlighting here, is $10,000 every day you survive prison. And it's at number 3, but the gap between 3 and 2 is not absolutely insane, but the gap between 2 and 1 is insane. The gap between 2 and 1 in the first 44 days is 150 million views. So to be clear, with this is not comparing it against like the views of the last video during its lifetime. This is comparing this video to the views of this video at that point in its lifetime. So like, this is how this video compares in its first 44 days versus this video in its first 44 days. That's what this is showing. All right, here's another picture. So you hear someone ask what a video was out of 10. This is what they're asking for. All right, well, that's pretty simple knowledge. Random things you should know. I'm almost done with this chapter, and then we can move on to creative. But before we do, I still have tons of notes around producing content that I can't really break into their own sections. So I want to rapid fire them here so you at least hear them once a day before starting your journey. Do not leave contestants waiting in the sun, ideally waiting in general, for more than 3 hours. Squid Game, it cost us 500 grand, and Boys vs. Girls, it got a lot of people out. Ask James to know more. Spectacles are videos that only the MrBeast channel can do. Not every video should be a spectacle, and we realize these videos are hard, but that's the point. I hate having tons of people on set. If someone's necessary, then that's fine, but if not, kick them off set or have them go watch from behind a monitor. Create an environment where the contestants also feel natural. I'd rather you be honest with each other than be nice to each other. Based. Do not talk down to talent or do anything to make them feel like shit. I need them to be happy and in good moods, and those boys are special to me. Ideally, most talks with talent, Chris, Carl, Chandler, Nolan, go through me, Ali, or Tyler to avoid confusion among them. Me like simple. The simpler the better. Apply with a grain of salt. Me like simple. Bro types like a minion. We pivot a lot. Be ready to have everything flipped on its head at a moment's notice. I want money spent to be shown on camera ideally. If you're spending over 10 grand on something and it won't be shown on camera, seriously think about it. Work with intensity. Push outwards, not inwards. Pull all-nighters weeks before the shoot so you don't have to days before the shoot. If something goes wrong on shoot, always check to see if it can be made into content. A tree falls over your car and breaks the 100 vases we need to give away. That's hilarious, and we should mention it in the video, LOL. Feasibility is working to see if the critical components of a video are actually possible. Example would be if I wanted to play hide and seek in the world's largest building. If you feasibility on this, that basically means you're trying to see if it's possible to get that building. If you do, then we have a video and it should go into production. If you can't, that's why it was in feasibility, so no one else wasted time. Never do anything that can make us look bad from a PR perspective. Big ouchie on that one, bro. Didn't work out too well, unfortunately. Didn't work out, unfortunately. We often do renderings of sets to see what they look like beforehand, which is amazing and helps a lot because I'm a very visual learner, and it gets the whole team on the same page. When doing these renders, though, I want to make sure you know the difference between a previs and a concept. Please do not refer to a render as a previs unless it's actually what we plan on building. If it's just a render for inspiration and it's not building locked, call it a concept. This will greatly help with any confusion, in my opinion. Many people waver on a concept but call it a previs, and people see it expecting that's what's going to be built, only to find out later that was a concept and the actual set is much different. Chapter 3, creative. Chapter 3, boys and girls. All right. We're 25 pages in. We got like 9 pages left. Or 11 pages left. It sounds like he wants robots working for him. I mean, he wants like people who are psychotically obsessed with their job for sure. I don't think robot is the same thing as that, though. He wants people who are passionate. Robots don't have passion. Chapter 3, creative. We are a creative first production company because when creative leads the vision of the suit, the product is always better. Vision of the shoot, the product's always better. So I think it's important you all understand creative. It is what drives everything we do, and it's the heart of our content. Being creative and understanding what makes good content is like cheat codes when in production. Camera, and obviously editing. Let's take production, for example. Let's say you are tasked with finding us a castle to live in for 50 hours, and while doing research, you find a castle and a number to call for the owner. So you do call, and he answers. Only problem is he says he quit the castle renting business to pursue his dream of building a 100-foot tall Lego catapult. You can obviously tell where I'm going with this. Ideally, you'd recognize that's badass as and try to convince him to let us use it when we do find a castle. This is a bad example because it's so obvious, but if you're doing your job right, you'll be doing an absurd amount of calls and data collecting. While trying to complete your prios and prepare for the video, you should always be on the lookout for new things you can bring to your creative team to inspire them. Because just like me, they don't know what they don't know, and you can't just say, I'm in production and I'm not very creative, because that's literally the equivalent of saying I suck at what I do. You also need to apply the same mindset when problem solving because many people lose sight of this stuff when in the weeds. If a problem appears, always ask yourself if your new plan is what's best for creative, not just the easiest band-aid. What is the goal of our content? To excite me. The goal of our content is to excite me. That may sound weird to some of you, especially if you're new, but to me, it's what's most important. If I'm not excited to get in front of the camera and film the video, it's just simply not going to happen. I'm not fake, and I will be authentic. That's partly why the channel does so well. Okay. And if I'm not excited by the video, we're luckily, I'd say I'm a pretty predictable guy, at least in this regard, haha. What excites me is what I believe will make the audience happy. That's what it always has been and always will be. I'm willing to count to 100,000, bury myself alive, or walk a marathon in the world's largest pair of shoes if I must. I just want to do what makes me happy and ultimately the viewers happy. This channel is my baby, and I've given up my life for it. I'm so emotionally connected to it that it's sad, lol. But this is the one thing I'll never compromise on. I have zero issues throwing away a multi-million-dollar video if I don't think it's up to my standards and is good for the audience. We must always be improving and innovating. The camera angles need to always get better. The pacing, the story, the jokes, the color, the lighting, the music, the props, the people, our framing, our ideas. Literally everything must always be improving and innovating because that's what excites me. That's literally what I live for, to see these videos get better and better and ultimately make the viewers happy. Giving up his life for it. You could say that again. You could say that again. What makes good content? This is where things get subjective and my brain is probably going to turn into mush. The problem with what I'm writing here is that good content is limitless. Literally anything can make good content. Let's take a baby doll, for example. You can see who can throw it the farthest with their left hand out of a group of 5 people. Watching them throw a baby doll with their bad hand and funny sound effects is hilarious. You can also go the opposite route and have 1,000 baby dolls and see how many it takes for someone to throw it in a crib 200 feet away. Or you can see how many baby dolls it would take to break a 2x4 in half. The point I'm trying to convey here is that even something as simple as a baby doll has an infinite amount of ways you can turn it into amazing, original, and funny content. That's one of the secret weapons of MrBeast Productions. We aren't stuck in old ways of thinking, and you can literally turn anything into good content. Good content can be anything. Always have an open mind and never stop innovating. Having said that, this is YouTube and there are constraints. You know the video can't be a minute, so you're obviously going to need to build a story to hold the viewers, and there are rules of storytelling. Our audience is massive, and because of that, you have to be simple. For 50 million people to understand something, it must be simple. So this is from when he had 50 million subs. When did MrBeast hit 50 million subs? January 3rd of 2021. So this is from 2021, I assume, around there. How to measure the success of content. Like I said, at the start of this, the metrics you care about in regards to virality are CTR, AVD, and AVP. If you want to know if the contents of a video are good, just look at AVD and AVP of a video after we upload it. Because based on how long people watch and what percentage of the video they watched, you can clearly see if they enjoyed it. To show this in action, below is the retention data for 2 separate videos of almost identical length for the channel. All AVD and AVP data I share will be the first day data to make it apples to apples. If you don't know what this means, that's okay. It's mostly in case Mario gets his hands on this. Haha. Because Mario. Wahoo! One video has 120 million views and the other only has 45 million. Look at these retention numbers and see if you can pick up on which got triple the views. All right, little quiz here. So this one looks like it dropped off here. It got below 40% by the end. This one, okay, so this one, the 3-minute mark had it at around 40%. The 7-minute mark had it around 40%. For this one, the 3-minute mark had it above 40%, but it was a much more aggressive. You can see this one is more consistent, and this one had a much more aggressive drop. This one had a more aggressive drop in the beginning, but it was consistent after that. So I would guess the lower image, I guess? The answer is the lower image. I'm a genius. People on average watch this video 1 minute and 38 seconds longer than the video of the same length. Of course, it got triple the views. It's clear as day for YouTube that people like this video much more. For your videos to do well, you must get their AVD and AVP as high as possible. The longer people watch, the better the video will do. This is why I'm such a stickler about every single second of content. Hook people at the start of the video. Transition them to an amazing story they're invested in. Have no dull moments. And then have a satisfying payoff at the end with an abrupt ending. Yeah, this is the abrupt ending thing I was talking about that every YouTuber is now employing. Very abrupt ending. A little bit of a note here. Okay, a little bit of a footnote, maybe even. I did get this sent to me. Okay, I did get this sent to me by GamerSupps. It's very possible that there will be a GamerSupps promotion on across the Tom Dark channel soon, and during that promotion, there may even be free samples given away. Okay, for anyone who wants it. There may be free samples of different flavors, so there just might be. You don't know. You don't know. There could be. It could be the case. We could be giving some stuff away. Anyway, the lean flavor is pretty fire. Formats. All right. One way to boost retention on a video is to have a good format for the video to follow. Let's use our popular Last to Leave series as an example. These videos have many reasons why they do well, but one in particular is the payoff at the end. You see, once you start watching a last to leave, you get invested in the progress and the challenge. You really want to see who leaves the circle last and wins the $100,000. Luckily, the winner isn't revealed until the end of the video, so as long as we don't make the video boring as hell, people are very likely to stick around till the end. Strong payoffs at the end of videos boost retention. But obviously, last to leave isn't our only format. Another example of a format is what I like to call stair-stepping. One good example of this is I bought the world's largest firework. This video opens with us showing all the fireworks and then lighting a $1 firework, then $10, and $50, and $375, and $1,000, and $10,000. Then we get some fire content, then 40 grand, 100 grand, and then the world record. As you get deeper into the video, the stakes get higher. The payoff for the world record is at the end, and it's such a beautiful format that allows you to deviate if you want, as long as things progressively get cooler. I love stair-stepping. Another format will be the ones where I get chased like bounty hunter, military, FBI. Just like the last to leave challenges, you don't know until the end of the video what the result is. Will they catch me? Will I get away? Gotta watch until the end. Throughout the history of this channel, we've been through many formats. Okay. A big one back in the day was donating to Twitch streamers, and people loved them. I'd go into random streams and donate 10K to a streamer to see how they'd react. All in all, we did like 12 of them, and when I stopped, people still begged for more. And that's because, like Steve Jobs says, people don't know what they want. The viewer may think they want a format forever, but they don't. They want new and fresh things. That's actually very true. Customers do not know what the f they want. They want new and fresh things. This is evident because every channel that rehashes formats for years always dies. This is why I'm constantly ditching formats in exchange for new ones. Ideally, 2 videos from the same format are not back to back. I'd like multiple different videos in between them if possible. Who is our audience? This is actually going to be interesting for me. Here are screenshots from the back end. Europe is a big percent, but it's broken up into countries, so it doesn't seem like it. So here we've got United States is 37%, the UK is 7%, India is 7%. Shout out Poop Maxers. Philippines is 4.6%, Canada is 3.6%. Wow, so only like a third of his audience is in the US. I guess I knew that, but it's interesting to see it this way. Age and gender, female 30%, male 70%. My demographics, I think, are really more aggressive in terms of male. I remember there was a time on the main channel when I think the analytics was like 93% male. I think it's less now. It's like 80% male or something. Our content is consumed by everyone at this point. Kids watch the videos with their mom. Even though our female viewership is only 30%, that's still 9-figure views a month from women, and is worldwide, but not too worldwide. 50% plus is still America and Europe. But despite saying all this, at its core, if I had to describe it, I'd say the average MrBeast viewer is a teenage memer. A teenage memer who likes video games. Bruh. A teenage memer who likes video games. What the f are you talking about? That's probably true, but just seeing that worded that way is like... Do you guys consider yourselves, are you guys teenage memers who like video games? Is that who's watching my content? Are you guys teenage memers who like video games? Is that you? Let me know. Memers out there, teenage memers. Are you guys saving Instagram memes on your phone to show to your friends and have them awkwardly pretend they're funny later? I was hanging out with Wendigoon recently, and I felt like such an asshole because he was showing me all these like memes that I genuinely thought were funny. But there's something wrong with me where if somebody shows me something funny, even if I think it's funny, I won't laugh at it. I don't know why that is. Maybe I have some kind of narcissism, but unless I say something out, like I feel like the thing I laugh at most is when I say something. I feel like I don't laugh that most when other people say things. It's kind of weird. Even if I think it's objectively funny. Like I went to see Theo Von live at some point this year, and I like Theo Von on his podcast. I feel like I think I think of him as a funny dude. But when I saw him do stand-up, I was like not laughing that much. I wasn't, but I felt more validated by that because like in that situation that I wasn't, because when I talked to like other people who had been to see him, they were like, I didn't laugh that much either. But yeah, you should watch our videos. You're going to be working for the MrBeast brand, so you should be a fan of the MrBeast brand. A lot of very valuable knowledge comes with watching vast amounts of our videos. I feel silly for having to write this, but all the time I talk to new people that have seen at most like 5 or 6 of our videos, and it's mind-blowing they don't see a problem with that. As I said earlier, I'd love for you to watch all the channels, but especially the main channel, seeing how you're working on it. To get 60% up to speed, I'd watch at least our last 50-ish videos. If you're a monster, really want to understand the history of the company and the innovations we've been through, I'd recommend you watch every video back until you hit the 10 million subscriber special. Anything before that is a waste of time, in my opinion. If you've seen every video we've made since 10 mil, then you will have a lot of context and information others don't, and it will make you that much more valuable. Brand deals are content. All right. If you watch a lot of YouTube, you'll probably notice that when someone does a brand deal, it's boring and sounds like they're reading a script. We take a different approach to brand deals. We like to integrate them into the content so it doesn't nuke our retention and boost conversion. Remember that I told you that we can see the exact moment when viewers click off our videos? Here's a retention chart for how we used to do brand deals the old way. So you can see there's a big dip there. Notice the crater where the brand deal is. That means people skipped over it and also clicked off. Now here's a retention chart with a new style brand deal. I mean, there's still a dip. It's less aggressive, though. The dip is way less dramatic, and for the most part, something I can live with to help fund the videos. Brand deals are content, and when treated as such, it boosts retention. We need to make them entertaining. Also, fun fact, the last CEO that sponsored a video said that the return was 1.7 times the return they got on an NFL championship game ad. He said with an NFL commercial, you get a giant spike of customers day one, and then it disappears forever after that. Whereas a brand deal with us, you get a huge spike for a few days, and then it settles down, and then a respike when we upload again, because after they watch that new video, they go back and watch the video before it. And even after that, our videos typically get 1 million plus views a month for years, also known as tons of residual customers. Understand culture. What you consume on social media, when you watch YouTube, TV, the games you play, etc., are what I like to call your information diet. You're starting to look like a bread tuber with that mustache. Am I? Something needs to change. I'm getting a haircut when I get back from India, so we'll just let the beard keep growing in, okay? The problem is it gets patchy. It gets patchy as so the more I grow it out, the worse it looks, I think. The more inconsistent it looks. I am going to India, yeah, at the end of this month. It's gonna be super messed up. Chris Tyson. Oh no. Chris Tyson's information diet. Our first subscriber and the guy in the videos is a wonderful example of an information diet being used to perfection. Bruh. No. No. You don't want to get in on Chris's information diet. That's a dark diet. That's a very poor diet, I would say. I've never met anyone in my entire life that can make people laugh like he can, and I never understood why he was so good at it until I lived with him for a few years. The dude watches an obscene amount of cartoons and stupid shit. His eyeballs exist to inhale copious amounts of just goofy, dumb, and brain-numbing content. And as a result, he can quote almost any line from an episode of SpongeBob. He's able to draw from so much stupid shit in his head as inspiration to make jokes and be quirky. Bruh. Chris Tyson's information diet. I can't get over that. Whose loose goose are we discussing today? Chris Tyson's loose goose, I guess, right now. More broadly, MrBeast's tight goose, I would say. But as a result, he is hilarious. But let's imagine a different Chris. I don't have to imagine that, bro. Let's say instead of cartoons and stupid shit, his information diet was stocks and investing advice. And for 5 years, that's all he consumed. Do you think he'd be just as funny as he is currently? No. He, in my opinion, wouldn't even be 20% as funny. If you're a writer or director, you need to monitor and perfect your information diet. If your diet is not correct, bro, I can't get over this. Chris Tyson's information diet. What is it? Shadbase's website. You won't have a good pulse on culture. I don't want you to be Chris. In fact, yeah, nobody wants to be Chris. I think that would probably do you harm. Talent needs to inhale cartoons so they can be funny. Writers need to inhale inspiration. Let's say there's a purple fruit in the middle of Australia that when eaten makes you 2 feet taller. If it truly did exist, you would have known that until just now. But now that you know of it, you can draw on it for inspiration for every piece of content you write going forward. That's beautiful. It can now sit in the back of your mind, waiting for that one video where it's needed. Okay, this is genuinely, I'm shitting on this. This is like true of like artists. You do need to like take in a lot of stuff for inspiration, but it's just funny. The Chris Tyson comparison is funny. That's beautiful. It can now sit in the back of your mind, waiting for that one video where it's needed. It might take 10 videos or even 100, but eventually you'll be brainstorming a bit and think of the right one you can use the fruit for. Apply this to literally everything on the planet. You can't get inspired by things you don't know exist. I'm imagining Woody from Toy Story being like, "You are a toy!" That's what's coming to mind here. So how do you learn more about what's out there in the world? Message to Chris Tyson. You are not a... You get the idea. How do you stay up to date on the latest memes? How do you know what's going on with celebrities? What's trending on What's trending on YouTube? What other creators are doing? What are other creators doing? What's popping on TikTok? Your information diet. Consume things on a daily basis that help you write better content. All right. Consume things on a daily basis. If talent wants to draw a dick on the whiteboard in the video or do something stupid, let them, assuming they know all the risks and aren't missing context on why it's not safe. People, like when we are in our natural element of stupidity, really do everything you can to empower the boys when filming and help them make content, help them be idiots. Now, I think by the boys, he's referring to like the talent, like Carl Jacobs, Chandler, people like that, right? You'll never be a walrus. True. We don't fake things. Make sure to prep contestants and try to create an environment where they feel comfortable talking. If you wrote a banger piece of content, but it's a 50-50 chance of working, write another piece of content. Content is unlimited. Don't be lazy. Run your content by as many people as possible for inspiration on how you can make it even better. I want famous people in our videos. Don't ever put me in a situation where I have to lie, because I won't, and it will screw the video. No dull moments in videos. You can't fake intensity in videos. The video endings must always be abrupt to protect retention. We talked about that here, the reasoning for that. This isn't really a creative thing, but in general, when on set, be attentive and engaged. Filming days are stressful enough. Be useful, please. Chapter 4, your career. All right, guys, we're getting to the conclusion here. If you've made it this far, you're probably at least semi-interested in this being your career. So I wanted to chat about it, because if you're ambitious and want to dedicate your life to work, you pick the best company in America to do it at. I really don't care to hoard a bunch of money, and I deeply believe in rewarding the people that help this business get where it needs to be. But before I get into that, let's talk about the future. As I write this, we have 2 teams that will grow to 4 in the next year, and possibly 8 in the next 2 years, but I can't talk about that because James will kill me. Ha ha. I think James is his CEO of MrBeast. I think that's who this James guy is. Oh, that's Jeffrey. Who's the COO? Who manages MrBeast? James at MrBeast. Who the fuck is James? I've heard about this James guy so much. It's not Jimmy. It's a different guy. There's some James guy. Is Brandon going to be going with you to India? If not, did you at least ask? He is going to India, yeah. He's the reason why I'm going, because he discovered the Poop Festival, which is another rabbit hole in and of itself. But yeah, he'll be with me. So will Brody. James Warren. Yeah, I remember him from the dog bag videos. I do remember him. James Warren, MrBeast. That's not him. None of these people are him, but I remember interviews with him. We need more leaders in the company. We need hardworking, obsessive, coachable, intelligent grinders that can step up and take some of these leadership spots over the next 2 years. Every single department has an opportunity for you to grow in, and you're in luck because we don't do yearly reviews. We do whenever the fuck you want reviews. If you want to become a production manager, tell James your intention and ask him why you suck and how you can become better. Seriously. He will give you a list of things that you need to improve to become what we need. And if you actually listen and master those things, we'll give you a shot at the role. Only problem is most people think they're better than they are and don't take it seriously when we give them things to improve on and then wonder why they never move up. This isn't a bureaucratic corporate company. You don't have to do something for 5 years to get a promotion. I hate the word promotion. The more responsibility and risk you help us navigate and overall bullshit you deal with, the more you make. And if you want more of that, we will gladly help train you to receive it. Ha ha. There is infinite room for you to grow here. This isn't a stepping stone. This is your final destination. We will win, and we're going to build something amazing. I see a world where this company is worth billions, and one day tens of billions, and those of you that help build this will be rewarded. I want nothing more than for you to be an all-in, obsessive, all day, every day, and so goddamn valuable this company can't operate without you. And in return for becoming so valuable, I hope to give you incredible experiences, a fun place to work, and of course, more money than you could ever dream of making at any other company. Now, read this all over again because I guarantee you didn't retain enough. And that's it, guys. That is the MrBeast internal document. Pretty interesting, actually. I feel like there's a lot of decent advice in here. Stuff you could probably apply to a lot of different things. Obviously, not everything MrBeast does is something you should follow. We know that already, but this stuff, I'd say there is a lot of good, philosophy for success in here. I found it interesting. I'm curious what people have said about this document. Like, how did they feel about it? Because I feel like it was pretty good advice. Rosanna Panasino, leaked document. The real MrBeast. All right.
6 pages.
Putting lol and joking haha in a company document is insane. Is it insane? I mean, it's a MrBeast thing. It's like a YouTube thing. This is not really adding anything. Let's see this guy, Adam McIntyre. All right. Enough of you. I hate how he says ABC person. He's ranking his employees, which also puts them against each other to see who can be better than the other. That's a horrible and toxic work environment. Maybe if you want to be, I'm trying to phrase this in a less mean way. If your goal working at a company is to just be an employee, a cog in the machine, then yeah, cool, whatever. But if your goal is to like be a truly successful person who like succeeds and is like standing out from the crowd, you shouldn't have a problem being ranked, because your problem with being ranked is your insecurity over inadequacy. It pisses them against each other so you can be better than the other. I mean, competition is good. Competition breeds innovation. Right? I love how you're always willing to change your mind and views on people and topics when presented with new info. Very mature and open-minded. You're a real one. A girl's girl. Bruh. You're free to make mistakes, but also I hate excuses, and if you make them, you're a C-lister and should be out of the company. Geez, this screams of the ugly tech startup culture. People should absolutely stop normalizing this, and good on Beast employees for speaking out. I feel like these statements are not in conflict with each other. You are free to make mistakes, but if you make excuses about that mistake and like try to justify it rather than like own up to your problems, then like he hates that. Like I don't think these are in conflict. I don't know. I feel like that document was not particularly egregious, apart from a few things that I didn't like. I feel like a lot of it was good. You realize like every company ranks employees based on like usefulness. Like maybe not like in an explicit way, A, B, and C, but like every company that wants to succeed does rank employees internally in some way. Like that's why they do yearly reviews and stuff like that, right? It's like to evaluate how well that person's doing and if they deserve to move up versus if they're a replaceable part of that company, you know? You also don't have to work there. They seem transparent about expectations. Yeah. I mean, to be clear, there's a lot of other problems with MrBeast's company. I mean, he's having a HR nightmare, like, for stuff unrelated to this document. I think there's a lot to criticize him for. But that document, I didn't find that egregious. Yeah, that was an interesting document. Very interesting. Smagla said, Connor, meaning X8, read out the document you're reading and deduced the documents from May 2022. Okay. Gotcha.